But guys, before we get into the chat, we'll probably start with Nigeria because that's what we'll do.
It's all we do. Let's get out of the way then.
Yeah,
We'll get out of the way.
South Africa, man.
What are your thoughts, bro, in terms of obviously Nigeria? It's kind of like because they didn't qualify for the World Cup. I feel like the setting for this AFCON is a bit different. Does it put more pressure on them to go and win it, or does it kind of feel a bit less significant because they didn't qualify for the World Cup? Or Sam, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's interesting. I think there's pressure, but at the same time, there's not. And I think there's pressure because, look, it's Nigeria, one of the biggest countries in Africa. Naturally, you'd expect them to at least get to the last four in it, just on paper.
Yeah.
Based on talent, based on reputation, whatever it might be. But then I also think there's no pressure because I don't think the fans have any expectation at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of
they've been disappointed because of the World Cup playoffs. Well, we're gonna have to cut that out.
Sorry. No, carry on, man.
I think fans are feeling deflated because of the World Cup playoffs, and now we're at a position where it's kind of like, just go and represent the country as well as possible. Like, we don't
just
really
go
know.
in it.
But one thing I was gonna say is that it reminds me of 2013, and the reason why I say that is because of two reasons. One, Nigeria went into that tournament with no expectation to go and win it, and they did. And secondly, the coach at the time switched around the players a lot, brought in a lot of new faces, a lot of old faces got, dumped out or whatever, injured that year. And it's kind of a similar thing to this year. So it's almost like we don't know what to expect. Similar thing last AFCON, Nigeria were not favourites at all and made it to the final. No one's expecting them to even come out the groups. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I don't know what side of Nigeria is going to turn up, but I don't have much expectation at the moment. I'm kind of just seeing, like, just go with the flow. Thing. We've got top talent. We have the team to get into the final, but will they do it? That's the question.
That is a big question.
I don't know. I kind of have to jump in here and say with Nigeria that I feel as though there is the pressure. I would actually go on the side of saying that there is actually pressure on them to.
Of course you would.
Hey,
do you know what? Yeah.
No, I'm not
When
saying.
everyone talks, their flag should be above their head. So that you don't understand the context of why he's
What's
saying-
going on here?
Let me
Nigeria under
outline
pressure.
why.
That's
Let me
hilarious.
outline why.
Where are you from?
Don't worry about that. Let me outline why. And I feel like it's one of the main reasons is exactly what Sam just mentioned there. Them making the final last time round. Now, when you think about Nigeria, a lot of the time, they sort of pride themselves in having what we'd probably say the best striker in Africa right now. You've got some senior heads in there. You've got a CAF Player of the Year winner in there with Lookman. Iwobi's like now of age. You've got certain profiles that I think across the scope of Africa, you would say that they've got massive names in there. And I think coupling that with the fact that they reached the final last time round, and obviously the way it ended was disappointment for them. And then this time round as well, given all of the drama of not qualifying for the World Cup, I think there's genuine eyes. Like they've even mentioned the fact that some people actually fear for the manager's job.
Yeah, that's
they
true.
don't perform at the tournament this time around. So I think given all of those things, similar to the way we look at, the certain nations like Senegal and all of the names they have, Morocco and all of the names they have, Egypt and I say all of the names, but one main name being Salah. I think Nigeria are, if not, probably near the top two, if I'm 100% honest, of that kind of pressure that you're putting on teams because of the profiles that they've got in there as well. So if you add that again with the fact that they reached the final last time, I think there's pressure on them. I actually think they actually have to go all the way and win the tournament. And if
Sam,
not,
he flipped it, bro.
questions.
I disagree.
Yeah?
Nigeria are not favourites to win this tournament, so there's no pressure. I do think if Nigeria get knocked out in the group stages or just get knocked out in general, there's going to be outrage because fans naturally will make noise, innit? But I just don't think there's pressure. I don't think anyone's expecting Nigeria to go in there and win the tournament. Like, when we look at the other teams, when we look at recent performances, for me personally, I'm not putting pressure on them. Usually I'm like, last AFCON, I was saying, bro, you lot should be getting to the final, 110%. But I feel like this year, just based off the last couple of months and who's actually favourites to go and win the tournament, I don't think anyone's really looking at Nigeria as like this big favourite and oh my gosh, like if you guys don't get to the last four or the final, like you guys have failed.
I actually think it's like the CAF playoffs. I think that's kind of impacted the pressure on this tournament, if like in a general sense.
Yeah.
I feel like if there was like the World Cup to look forward to after AFCON, I think it would be like, let's build momentum to go into the World Cup. But now that there's not that, I generally feel like it's kind of it feels a bit different this AFCON because you're right. Normally you go into an AFCON thinking, yeah, Nigeria, like we're one of the
Yeah.
favorites, we want to win. But I think because of that disappointment, I feel like that's still hanging over onto this
Do you know
tournament.
what it is? It's good that you mentioned that because I think if there's any sort of pressure, I think they're putting it on themselves, you know?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
Maybe
it's a
they're
thing
gonna
of where
like
it's
redeem
We
themselves.
didn't
sort of thing.
qualify for the World Cup. We have to win this or we're all cooked. Because they will be cooked. I can't lie. Don't go on X. Don't go on Instagram.
Yeah,
It's just gonna be a madness. But yeah, that's how I'd say.
But then this is where I ask, like, do you think when you look at it from Nigeria's point of view, as in like you guys as fans are not putting pressure on yourselves mainly based on the fact that you don't expect anything, but like when you think about it of how are the rest of Africa looking at Nigeria? That's what
It's
I'm
like you
looking
can't
at,
switch off.
because
Yeah.
obviously I'm not a super Eagles fan because I rep another country, but I'm somewhat of a neutral, if you will, because obviously I'm not. So that's the rest of Africa are
Not,
looking
by the
at
way.
Nigeria as like a. Do you get what I mean?
the rest of Africa are waiting for Nigeria to slip up so they can start tweeting.
But that's when you know you're big, no? That's when you know
I mean,
that you're
we are
massive.
big.
That's-
I'm not
that's when
denying.
you know that
I'm not
you're a-
denying we're big. We're not big, bro. Like I'm not denying that. But I just don't think there's pressure. I think there's pressure on Morocco, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean, countries like that, but
host
we get
country.
into it.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it, Ralph? What are you thinking, bro? You're very quiet here.
Yeah, I'll be real. I don't really know what's going on, man.
I hear it. Well, let me, Sam, before we move on to
I'm
that.
just here because I'm African.
Listen, we had to get him in, bro. We had to tick the boxes, bro. Let's before we move on though, Truce to Kong obviously retired just before this tournament, bro. How much of
Yeah.
an impact do you think now have on the squad?
Massive.
Do you reckon he
massive.
should have? Obviously, he has his own reasons and that. But do you reckon they needed him?
Seems political, by the way, a little bit.
Is it?
Mm.
I
See,
feel-
you lot know the ins and
Do you know what? It feels like it's political.
Mm.
Obviously, I can just take his word for it. He's tweeted that it's not. He's tweeted
Yeah.
that it's his own decision.
Yeah.
But it just feels like it. Why a month before or less than a month before the AFCON starts, will you now decide, like, I don't want to play for Nigeria no more? Look, at the end of the day, it's up to him. I don't know what's going on in his personal life, whatever it might be, why he made the decision. But it just seems weird. I feel like it could have been a thing of where, look, like, if Nigeria get to the final, that's probably roughly around maybe 6 games. Like, play 6 more games for Nigeria and that's it.
Yeah,
Done.
yeah.
even if he's
yeah.
not gonna be playing, was he a starter?
So when we was at, for the World Cup playoffs, he was benched both games and only came on in the first game.
Even just to have him around as a
For morale,
like what
I feel
what
like it would have
man
just
are
been
doing
helpful,
with
man.
Henderson,
Yeah,
by England.
literally. Well, bro, if you
think
think
it's
about
a
that
blow.
role, even when we were out there, he was very much like a leader in that sense, wasn't he?
Yeah, 100%.
Taking press conferences.
100%.
And he waited for the whole team to like go
Yeah.
past the mix zone and for him to talk and that. So be a big presence missed in the squad, man, for sure.
And it's
Who
going
do
to
you
be
reckon will
interesting.
step up and take that role. It won't be.
In Didi, that's what they're saying.
Thinking Diddy's probably the smarter choice. He's usually captain when Truce isn't playing, so it only makes sense to just. I think, especially this close to the tournament, just makes sense to just go with your vice for now.